Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I've been using iOS 18.3 for the past 2 weeks or so. And in this video, I'm going to give you my overall experience running iOS 18.3. I'm going to talk about the battery life, battery health, and performance, and I'm going to share the Geekbench score on my iPhone and iPad towards the end of the video. Now, as far as some new features in iOS 18.3, well, first, Apple released a brand new app. I did make a video on it. I'm still figuring out how to use this app, but it doesn't seem like it's that big, but the app is called Apple Invites. I've already launched the app open, and if I go to some test invites I've created, I've made one celebrating Hawkins Tech because on February 16th, it's going to make 3 months since I've had this channel. And I might do a live stream talking about the anniversary of this channel and also hopefully reaching 70 subscribers, as I am at 69 subscribers currently. But these are some test invites that I've created. And as far as new iOS 18.3 features, well, if we go to the lock screen here and we press and hold on the lock screen, we go ahead and press the blue plus button here and we scroll down to the wallpapers. These are some new wallpapers that we've gotten in iOS 18.3. These new wallpapers are called Unity Rhythm. And the first one I have here is on a black background. Then if I go to this one, we have a black and white version, and then we have a black version on a white background, and then we have my favorite one, which is on a red background, one on a green background, and then one on a yellow background. Every year we typically get these wallpapers, so Apple released these with iOS 18.3. As far as other features, I've talked about this in my last video. If you go in the calculator app and you type in an equation here, 12 plus 56, you can now repeat those functions in iOS 18.3. Now, there is one thing I forgot to mention in my video from last week. If you take a screenshot and you go ahead and make that a full-page screenshot, then you go ahead and crop that screenshot, you will get a message saying the photo cannot be saved as a PDF. I'm going to try and make that pop up for you guys. This is the message that you will get right here if you try to take a full-page screenshot and then crop it. Now, I've been testing this out, so I'm not getting it when I crop it the second time, so I had to crop it even further. But this is the message you forget. I forgot to mention this, I believe, in last week's video. So that's new with iOS 18.3. As far as other features in this update, well, there is robot vacuum support within the Home app. If you go into your camera control on the iPhone 16 models, you will now be able to take a picture of certain calendar events or flyers, and it will make that a calendar invite within your calendar. So if there's like an invitation flyer and you take a picture of it, it will show up in your calendar using camera capture or camera control. Also, the camera control button can now recognize plants and animals, and there's also updates to Apple Intelligence with notification summaries. Now, unfortunately, none of these I can show as I don't even have a device that supports Apple Intelligence. But these are some new features that are in iOS 18.3. Now, as far as my performance with this update, Podcast is one of the apps I like to test. So if I go into it, let it load, loads up good. Let it load here. Then if I go into the app library and test out the performance of this device, it scrolls up nice and fast. If I go into my battery health here, my battery health This is quite surprising. It still hasn't dropped. It's been here for about almost a year. I believe it was there in June of last year, so it's going to be a year in a couple months. But as far as my battery health, well, I just started using this device, but for some reason, it's saying that I'm getting 2 hours and 24 minutes screen on time, 5 minutes of screen off time. If I take a look at yesterday's battery health, I'm getting 7 hours, 1 minute screen on time, 36 minutes of screen off time. Now, if I take a look at the Geekbench score, I just ran this. I scored 2083 for single core, 4742 for multi-core. We compare it to last week. I scored 2084 single core, 4754 for multi-core. Now, if I take a look at the iPad, since I just ran it on this particular device, on my iPad Air 4th generation, and I ran it and airdropped it, I scored 2098 for single core and 5163 for multi-core. And then last week, I scored 2097 single core, 4126 for multi-core. And that is on my iPad Air 4th generation. Now, as far as what to expect next from Apple, well, it's quite surprising that we have not gotten iOS 18.4 Beta 1 released yet in the past 2 weeks, but I would expect that update the week of February 10th. Hopefully, we get some large updates in iOS 18.4 Beta. Now, I won't be running that beta, but I'm going to talk about what's new in that update. And we should have a release sometime towards the end of March or the beginning of April. And also, we're expected to see the release of the iPhone SE 4th generation, where it's expected to look similar to the iPhone 14, but maybe have one singular camera, and maybe have a smaller notch, an A18 chip for Apple Intelligence, as well as USB-C charging. I won't be able to review it personally, but when it comes out, I'm going to look up a lot of pictures of it, and I'm going to make a video or a live stream probably talking about what's new with the brand new iPhone SE 4th generation. As far as anything else, well, that's it for iOS 18.3. It's a good update so far. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.